for Spiritual Living, Leesburg. The theme for the month of 2023, I'm getting a little more used to saying that, is Living Out Loud. And the theme for the month of April is the power of vulnerability. The title of our talk today is Vulnerability, Letting Go and Letting In. And it will be given by our wonderful spiritual director, Charlene. We're so glad that you joined us here today. How nice to be able to set aside a little time to join your friends and take care of yourself. If you have any prayer requests or celebrations that you would like us to include later when we do our spiritual mind treatment, which is a form of affirmative prayer, please put that in the chat or the comments section, and we'll be ensured to include that later on in our service. And now we're going to show this video and officially kick off our service. Welcome. Please join us as we create our sacred space. We set our intentions of deepening into our awareness and practice of our 5 pillars of spiritual living by lighting this candle in our virtual world. Our first pillar is sacred study, represented by the divine quality of truth. We use this pillar to recognize the importance of an open mind and the power of our minds. The second pillar is affirmative prayer, represented by the divine quality power. This pillar honors the power of prayer in our daily lives. Our third pillar is meditation and the divine quality of peace. This pillar reminds us of the importance of meditation and the peace we feel when we quiet our minds. The fourth pillar is circulation and the divine quality of life. We know that the great law of circulation works in our lives. As we give, so shall we receive. And the fifth pillar is sacred service and the divine quality of love. This pillar affirms our call to be of service to our world as we see through the eyes of love. Let us close our eyes as we bless this sacred space and our time together. As we weave each of these pillars of spiritual living into our service today, may they deepen our own spiritual practices of study, prayer, meditation, circulation, and service, expanding our minds and our hearts to the 5 divine qualities of truth, power, peace, life, and love. We also bless everyone who made our service possible today and everyone in attendance. May the energy of love that is generated here bless everyone abundantly, and so it is.
And so it is. And now we have a meditation by Kristen, our wonderful, honorary practitioner.
Good morning. Let's begin by minimizing distractions around you. If there's something you need to do to bring yourself more present, take care of it quickly and come back. And just begin to tune in to your breathing. You don't have to do anything special with it. If you'd like to close your eyes, I always find that helpful. And just noticing the breath. Noticing the breath for a moment. And as you begin to notice the breath, notice what propels and moves and stimulates the in-breath and allows the out-breath. That vital energy that is always there. And bringing your awareness into the pulsing, the motion, the energy of the body. As you let that energy and that awareness to spread, maybe beginning with the feet, feeling that life from the inside, as that life energy is always there through the entirety of the body system. And just noticing what is in your mind, collecting those thoughts that kind of humming in the background, and just gently noticing them, bringing them back to home. Imagine that you have these sort of arms to collect those random ideas and thoughts, and just kind of bringing them, herding them back. And asking for an intention to become made into your awareness for the day. Is it an intention of truth? An intention of power, of peace, an intention of love, of life, of acceptance, of participation, of vulnerability and openness. Just trying those ideas on to see how they resonate with the body. Letting go of some of the extra thoughts that aren't needed at this time. Coming back to the body system that is just always filled with this beautiful divine vitality. The vitality that bubbles under the surface and also expands outward. Imagine that whatever intention that you have cultivated is infusing with your signature energy. Imagine that as a wave or a ripple going out around you, bringing healing and bringing peace, bringing love, bringing connection. Feeling that infused with Mother Earth. Bringing you back to home. And as you feel this beautiful harmony develop between you and everything around you. You know that you can carry this with you with whatever you do. And as you just come back to the breathing that your body is wanting to do, just noticing that breath and feeling that vitality. Knowing your worth. And just simply saying, and so it is.
Thank you, Kristen. That was amazing. Next, we have the Soul Pajamas. They're up.
Good morning. I had a little trouble finding the cursor there. This is a beautiful song called Heaven Down Here. And as we were searching for it, thinking about the theme of vulnerability, it's really a love song from Spirit or from divine love to you, to me, to each of us. And it made me realize in order to be vulnerable, you need to open to Spirit and to divine love. And then when you do, then being vulnerable, you feel more supported. And so it seems easier or more comfortable. And I hadn't thought of it that way before. Anyway, it's a great song. What are you waiting for? Believe in me. Isn't it love in this life that you seek? You can offer your soul to an altar of sacrifice, but give your heart to me. Let's bring heaven down here. Let's bring heaven on down. You don't have to wait for the angels. Let's bring heaven down here. What's in the sky so big that you can't find? Only with love could you be more divine. How can I help you believe forever and evermore? To trust your heart to me. Let's bring heaven down here. Let's bring heaven on down. You don't have to wait for the angels. Let's bring heaven down here. You can hold my hand. Don't you know salvation is the warmth of my embrace? You can close your eyes, feel my light upon your face. I'm with side. Mm. What are you waiting for? Believe in me. Isn't it love in this life that you need? You can offer your soul to an altar of sacrifice, but give your heart to me. Let's bring heaven down here. Let's bring heaven on down. You don't have to wait for the angels. Let's bring heaven down here. Let's bring heaven on down. Let's bring heaven on down. You don't have to wait for the angels. Let's bring heaven down here. Bring heaven down here. Bring it on down. Bring heaven down here. Bring it down. Bring it on down. Bring on heaven down here. Bring 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 heaven down here.
You know, if we were in person, I would have been keep going, because you guys were riffing. And Aaron, I saw a hand up in the audience. Wow, you guys are amazing. Thank you for that.
Thank
so
you.
Good.
Oh, I'm muted.
Well, after that meditation and then that song, I feel like we're just really ready to slide that message right on in without any resistance. So here I am. I'm just here to tell you guys that release is the order of the day. In fact, I loved how Kristen took us first within our breathing, and she had us resonate with what attribute of spirit that we would like to experience. And I loved, she said, your signature, your energetic signature. And isn't that exactly what we know about ourselves, that we were placed on this planet by the divine to bring a bit of heaven down here through our energy, through our fingerprint, through our signature, who we really are within. Unfortunately, over the years, we start to layer on top of that some things. We start to remove a few things because we feel like, oh, I don't really fit in. So I don't know if I should be this much of myself. And we might start to take away from our authentic self, as if we could. I should say it this way. We start to layer over our authentic self because we really can't take away from that which we really and truly are within. And so when we know that we were placed on this planet to do a particular thing, and it takes us sometimes a bit of a journey to arrive at that understanding. And so today's topic is well, you know, this month, as Tamara so beautifully introduced, the power of vulnerability is the topic for the month. And we've been speaking of opening up and allowing our true selves to shine through, even if it's not the best part of us as we think. We could be hiding things about ourselves that we don't really embrace. This is normal. I mean, there are not there are parts of ourselves that we're not going to take a selfie of and post it out there on Instagram or Facebook or whatever. We're not going to text our friends a selfie of us doing the thing that we're not that proud of. That's why it stays in the shadows. And a lot of times when we live through our lives, I know Melinda spoke about the shadow self the first Sunday of the month. And what we know about shadow is that it is part of who we are, that we can face the sun and be in our glory about all those attributes of ourselves that we're proud of. We bask in the glory, or sometimes we issue, oh, this old thing, oh, my personality is amazing. Oh, no, it's not. Sometimes we're a little shy about accepting compliments for our gifts, but we are definitely not going to lead with our so-called failures and those things about ourselves that we have deemed not worthy. In fact, if we're really good about shadows, if we're really good about denial, we project it, don't we? We get annoyed by our neighbor who always does that thing, or we get annoyed with our partner or our spouse who always does that thing. And a lot of times we are projecting. We're just choosing to see the worst about ourselves in someone else. Or in the advanced class, those of us, what we do about our shadow is we don't want to face it ourselves. So we hire others. We outsource our disdain of ourselves to somebody else. And then we realize that we've hired a contractor. And is it a contract killer? I don't know. But a lot of times you hire a contractor to kind of tell you the worst things about yourself, because it's what we do. It's that thing. I feel really bad about myself in this area. So then all of a sudden, this person I've attracted is shaming me for that very thing that I feel bad about in that one area. I'll never forget, I was dating someone back when I first started studying to become a practitioner. And you know, when you go through these classes, you have books on your shelf. The books on your shelf, I might add, they're like, I could just look at my bookshelf. Change your thinking, change your life. Let's see, we've got somebody at the door. Okay, the Quimby manuscripts. I've got, what other ones? Oh, Living Out Loud. And I've got The Science of Mind, Emerson, the Care and Feeding of the Soul. I've got these books that, you know, come on, this is, if I read and study and practice everything in those books, I'll be amazing. Unfortunately, I open these books even today and I'll look at something that I've highlighted and that I've underscored and I'll be like, that's true. Like it's the first time I read it. Well, anyway, back when I was dating this person who came into my room and saw my bookshelf, and at the same moment, I'm over there next to my bed, taking outfits out and laying them on the bed and deciding I don't have anything to wear. None of this stuff is great. I'm fat. I'm ugly. This is not going to work. I shouldn't even go to this event. And he looks at me and he looks at the bookshelf and he looks at me and says, did you read any of these books? And I was like, oh, okay, I see what I did. And then over time, this person who ended up not being great for me long term, what a great lesson that this person brought to me. He was like, he would say things to me that were my biggest fear about me. And then I was like, oh, I've been found out. I think all of us feel a little bit like a fraud, a little bit in areas of our lives. And so it's ours to work with. The imposter syndrome is not a new thing. But if someone else says, oh, you don't know what you're doing, do you? You suck at that. Do you? And then I realized, oh, you know, I've been saying that to myself. I really don't blame that guy. I hired him. I outsourced my negative voice, projected it, and now he's giving it to me. And then I get to be mad at him for saying the mean things to me that I've been saying to myself the whole time. And so I said, thank you. And I dismissed the lesson because I think I'm ready to move to the next grade. That's what we do. There are things about ourselves that we're not that proud of. And we stick it in our backpack and we say, I'm never going to look at it. Unfortunately, that's part of who we are. That's part of the wholeness of who we are. And then when we don't look at those things, then we're a little bit too prickly, a little bit too reactive, and a little bit hair trigger, you know? And that's when I become reactive to something, and like I've got a chip on my shoulder and I'm like, you knock it off, go knock that chip off, and you're gonna get, I wish somebody would knock that. So I know when I'm going there, I'm like, oh gosh, what is it I'm not looking at? What is it I'm not looking at? And then as I look at the calendar, I realize, oh yeah, it's taxes. I'm not looking at taxes. And guess what? Those things are due in a couple of days. So typically it's me. In fact, the universe is always a reflection of ourselves, right? It always is. And so my first point about all this is that we've got attachment. We've got attachment to things or to situations or to ideas about how things should be. And that's the worst word in the world, right? The should. How things should be. And when we become attached to things that, let's say, for example, you're attached to your image, or you're attached to your job, or you're attached to some external thing. And if we are identifying with that, then we will resist change. We will resist change to the degree that we are holding on to the thing that needs to leave us. We will hold on to it like our life depends on it. And I read some quote, everything I've ever let go of had scratch marks on it because I didn't want to let it go. In fact, Pema Chodron, who is a famous Buddhist, says, when we resist change, it's called suffering. But when we can completely let go and not struggle against it, that's called enlightenment. When we can completely let go and not struggle against it, that's called enlightenment. Wayne Dyer put it another way. In his book, You'll See It When You Believe It, he says, the more we are attached to people, things, ideas, and emotions, the less we are able to experience these phenomena authentically. Try squeezing a handful of water and see how quickly it disappears. But relax and let your hand flow in the same water, and you have the experience of the water as long as you like. This is the principle of detachment and flowing. Allowing things to flow naturally is the way of the universe. It is. And it would be kind of crazy for us if you think about it from a detached standpoint, right? Because attachment leads to suffering. From a detached standpoint, it's kind of silly for us to fight what is. Think about the universal, all the things that it takes, all the coincidences and synchronicities, and all the gathering of quarks and all types of matter, from subparticles all the way to atoms and molecules and stuff. Listen, it took a lot to get things the way they are. And for us to resist what is to use our might, like the might of an ant against a huge boulder. It's not going to happen. It's kind of silly for us to hold all this energy in opposition to what is, and then we don't get to experience anything fully. And it does make sense logically. Yes, I see. So the more I'm attached to what I think it should be, the less I'm relaxed and flowing. And it's not good to be tense or rigid, because things like that break easily. Things that are tense and rigid are very brittle, right? Think about the palm tree next to the ocean, or even, on a street in California. And think about big winds coming and how those palm trees are made to just bend. And yeah, you might lose a frond or two, but at the end of the day, it's kind of looking a little worse for wear, but it's standing back up. Whereas that big oak tree just falls over, breaks. It's no good anymore. The more rigid and the more inflexible and the more sure we are, the more brittle and breakable we are. So that's the first thing. Attachment leads to suffering. So, Charlene, you might be asking yourself, well, so what do we do with that? Well, the next step in this is to, if we want to really take a picture of our true self, all of the self, the light and the shadow, the wholeness of who we are, we've got to release our attachment and accept. Accept what? Accept all that is. Accept that terrible part about ourselves. I don't know if this happens to you. Anybody here who's not getting any older? Yeah, we're not getting any younger, that's for sure. I've stood in the mirror and been like, oh, well, it is what it is. I mean, it's a silly example, but what are we going to do? Fight against the privilege of getting to be here another day, to experience love and life on this beautiful planet and help make it a better place another day, and to fret about a wrinkle or a thing or another thing. Why would we fight that? It's a privilege, it's a gift. And so to just say it is what it is a beautiful way of handling anything that we think we want to resist, but doesn't logically make any sense to resist it. And James Twyman in The Non-Dual Universe says, release the mental struggle and the need to know, and simply allow yourself to be known. Let go of the intellectual desire to understand and simply allow yourself to be understood. The truth within you is always known and always understood by God. I love that. Release the mental struggle and the need to know. I'm that way. I've learned this year, it's only been 3 months, 4 months now. I've learned that I have to stay in the question. I have to stay curious. Because the minute I think I already know, the minute I think I have the answers, I'm missing something amazing. But if I can stay in curiosity, if I can stay in the question, then I can find little golden nuggets of knowledge, even those golden breadcrumbs that tell me, oh, do that thing next. That's the thing. You know, I can't see those if I'm sure, if I'm absolutely certain exactly which way I'm going to go. No. I have to stay in the question. And a lot of times that means I have to go within and just witness. I'm taking a class on the Upanishads, the Vedic scriptures this semester, and it's amazing. Wow, what they've done. I mean, I know a lot of you are like, duh, we've been doing that for years. I know, I'm just learning. It's okay. They've got a whole chart of the human body, and they've taken each of the, even like every notion, every bit on your spine. I know they're called things like this L1, L2, there's all the spinal things. Each one of those branches out to something, some information about your entire body. So the body is the technology that interacts with the divine. What? And it's all this, the technology is mapped. Excuse me, tell me this is like a thing. So yeah, I'm excited. I'm going to rabbit hole the heck out of this class, I'm pretty sure, and you'll get to hear it. But the whole thing I'm learning is that through meditation, it's not only a great idea in general, but why is it a great idea? Because through meditation, we get to find out deeper and deeper layers of ourselves. And our brains will go through modifications. We'll start to generate beta waves and different alpha waves. We experience the divine through the body's technology through continuous meditation. And here's the part that I mentioned about releasing. When we release our mental concepts of what things are, all the mental chatter that goes on from day to day, when we go into meditation, we go below that surface. Imagine diving deeply down. Maybe you've been scuba diving before and you go way down below the surface where things are still. And yes, the surface might be really choppy, but way down it's really still. And there are things to be known, things to be discovered deep down. And the teaching is to do it 20 minutes in the morning and 20 minutes at night. over time, there'll be a bubbling up, a welling up, kind of like what Kristen led us through in her meditation. There'll be a welling up of self-knowing, of comfort. There'll be that awareness and enlightenment that we can bring with us through every moment in our waking life, such that we're walking in two worlds, never completely consumed by the appearances of what's going on day to day. And, oh my gosh, this person cut me off. That's not, I mean, that's happening, but that's not where you're living from. And when we learn how to let go of the thoughts about who we are and what we're attached to and what we might be, and freaking out about something that's about to change, when we can dive deeply underneath all that and settle into who we really are, then we bring that true essence into life, into our daily lives. Lao Tzu says in the Tao Te Ching, when I let go of what I am, I become what I might be. When I let go of what I have, I receive what I need. Which brings me to the third piece and the final piece. This is all about releasing attachment and releasing anything that up till now helped serve part of our personality. Maybe we weren't sure who we would be if we didn't have that pet peeve, or if we didn't have that resentment or unforgiveness about us. If we didn't have a good gossip session about something that gets on our nerves every day, we don't know who we would be if we just release that. And then we allow the divine to fill in that which we already are, that whatever we were attached to was covering it up and was getting in the way. It was a stumbling block. When we allow ourselves to release that, we open and we can allow life to surprise us. We can allow heaven on earth. We can allow our prayers to actually be answered. The reason why some people pray, but they don't get what they're praying for is because they're getting what they're praying with. They're praying with avarice or some sort of negativity, and that's what comes about. We could think that we're praying for peace and joy and all the things we know we deserve, but if part of us feels like, I can't really let go of this resentment though, because I don't really know who I'm going to be without it, that's why these prayers, these so-called seeds, cannot germinate, because the soil is hostile to the seed. And so when we let go, we release attachment. We release anything that is unlike who our higher thought of ourselves is, and we accept the negative parts about ourselves. We just say, oh, well, gotta love me, right? Say that instead of, oh, I wish I wasn't that way. Say it is what it is. Gotta love me. Look yourself in the eye. Because the universal mind, this is from Wayne Dyer as well, the universal mind of creation is a constant state of supplying your every need. It never shuts down. It never vacations. The universal mind, there are no days off. It's perpetually giving of itself. Allowing this all-giving source into your life means becoming aware of the resistance that you might be placing in the way of the abundance that is trying to make its way to you. What resistance might I be placing in the way of the abundance? That's from Wayne Dyer, The Power of Intention. And I'll end my talk. It's already time. I can't believe it. I had so much more to say, but I'll end it with this. Ralph Waldo Emerson says, we lie in the lap of immense intelligence, which makes us receivers of its truth and organs of its activity. When we discern justice, when we discern truth, we do nothing of ourselves, but allow a passage to its beams. And so let's go within and just anchor this awareness of who we really are. I just check the chat, see if there's any prayer requests. Oh, okay. So let's go within and just know that there's only one divine presence here. Yes, it has multiplied itself out as each and every person who is in the sound of my voice. However, it is one. This unity of life is present in all beings. It is ever giving of itself, and our only limitation is our acceptance of it. And so I speak my word right here, right now, that each and every one of us has a bigger capacity to accept the gifts of the divine, and that we have the ability to see and appreciate each and every part of ourselves, bringing us back to our true wholeness. We embrace anything that we've defined as negative. We embrace it as part of ourselves. We embrace any attitudes that we would deny that we have, and we just embrace it as being part of ourselves. For we are whole, and to be whole is to allow all, the good, the bad, the ugly, everything is God. Everything is divine, even in the ways in which we might judge it to be less than so. It's all God. So as we move to a sense of wholeness, I know that all around the world, wherever there is a feeling of strife, of war, of famine, of just injustice to women, to children, and to any being on this earth, I know that right there is wholeness, even in the midst of what appears to be not so. The divine is everywhere at once and all powerful always. And I just speak my word that we are open to accepting more of our good. And this is a daily practice. And so we embrace it every day that we are blessed to wake up and look at ourselves in the mirror. That is another day that we can embrace every aspect of who we really are. And so as I give thanks for this awareness, I know that it is already unfolding, because the universe always says yes. And its divine idea unfolds continuously, and I'm excited to see how it shows up in our lives. I simply rest in knowing that all is well. So it is. Amen. Ashe. I hear the soul pajamas.
This is a song that Dan wrote with Roger Tomei, and it's perfect for today.
Spirit flow over me, clear my eyes that I might see. Spirit flow over you, and know that you are spirit too. Spirit flow,
Spirit flow
over you, clear my eyes that I might see. Spirit flow, over you, know that you are spirit too. We are floating on a spirit wind,
Spirit wind,
never knowing where we'll fall.
where will you fall?
Carry far from where we begin. That's the beauty of it all.
Yeah,
Spirit flow
Spirit flow
over me,
over me.
clear my eyes that I might see. Spirit flow.
Spirit flow
Over me.
over me.
Clear my eyes
That I might see.
Spirit flow.
Spirit flow
Over you.
over you.
Know that you are spirit too.
You are spirit too.
Know that you are spirit too.
You are spirit.
And know that you are spirit
too.
Thank you so much.
you.
Gold pajamas. Oh, love that music. And thank you. What a wonderful, wonderful message, Charlene. I got lots of notes in my journal from today's talk. Now is the time for us to bless the donations that are shared with our center today. At CSL Leesburg, we believe in the law of circulation, just like you heard in our opening video. So we are a tithing community. We practice what we preach. The donations that are shared with our center bless everyone, those who give and those who receive. You can look on the screen. I'm sure you found a way already that you prefer to give to CSL, and know that when you give to us, it goes to help not only CSL Leesburg, but our home organization and other organizations that support our commitment to helping to create a world that works for everyone. We thank you so much for your support. Now, however you are giving, just take it and place it over your heart and join me in the blessing of our gifts and our affirmation of oneness. The presence of spirit within me blesses everyone I meet, tends to heal everything I touch, brings gladness into the life of everyone I contact. Therefore, I am a blessing to myself, to humankind, and to the day in which I live. And so it is. All right, let's go to announcements. So we told you, stay tuned, right? So here's what Charlene and I are cooking up. We got 2 new classes starting in May. We have historical foundations, and there is a prerequisite for this class. You have to have one of our foundations class before you take this. And in historical foundations, we take a look at everything that we talk about, that we believe in. What's the origin? Where did all this come from? And we explore all these great teachers that have come before us, that came before us homes and led up to what we know. And it's supported, and there's a whole historical background, lots of great historical figures. And we'll explore that in that class. It starts on May 9th. It's going to be on Tuesday night, starting at 8 o'clock p.m. and it'll be over Zoom. And for those folks that are not in the Eastern Standard Time, that is 8 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. And you can sign up under classes on our website. Also, we're going to have Change Your Thinking, Change Your Life. No prerequisite whatsoever for this class. What an incredible class. I've taken it, been a co-teacher with Charlene, and boy, oh boy, is that a good one. So you heard Charlene mention, it's not just a book that you keep on your bookshelf, but change your thinking, change your life. And it's a wonderful, wonderful class. Now we need to know if you're interested in taking that. Would you like that on Thursday evenings, or would you like that Sunday after service? Just let us know. All right, I'm seeing if there's anything else I have to add. Oh, there's no sign-up sheet. See, when I start seeing messages from Charlene, I know I got to adjust something. Yeah,
I'll do it like tonight or something.
She's a busy lady, guys. In case you haven't figured this out, it's coming. It'll be along very shortly. All right, on Tuesday mornings, as always, at 9 a.m., we have Charlene and her friends meeting for dream study. Go if you can, join the group and bring along some of your dreams, and I'll talk about them and they'll help you interpret them. Guys, a lot of the times when we're dreaming, we think that we're just out, nothing's happening. Our subconscious is trying to point us, direct us, bring something to our awareness. So if you're interested in that, intrigued, join Charlene and her friends on Tuesday mornings. For those of you who are on our leadership council, we have our meeting after the service. And Charlene, you hop in again if I'm wrong with this. I have written on my calendar 1 o'clock, giving everybody a chance to grab some lunch first. Yeah. Is that correct?
That works for me.
Good, good, good. All right. So our leadership council, if you're on that, you know if that's you. And we'll be meeting at 1 o'clock today right here on our Zoom link. All right, folks. I hear a rumor that it's going to be a beautiful day today, and it is Sunday, and usually that's a day where you don't have too many commitments. So if you have something special planned for this afternoon, please go out, enjoy yourself. Know that we send you off with love. If you can stay and hang around for just a little bit, we'd love to hear what were the parts of music, the meditation, or the service today that really resonated with you. We call these pearls. What are the moments? Like I said, I've got my notes. I've got some stars by some things. But what are the things that really struck you, or things that confused you and you'd like to question and talk about them a little bit more? If you can, stay after our service and we'll meet with you and we'll share and explore in what we call pearls. And if you have to go, we understand. All right, let's do our closing affirmation to officially wrap up our service for today. Place your hands of your heart and join me by saying, I am love. I am love. I didn't hear a single person on that, but that's okay, because now we have the next part. You are love.
You are love.
You are love.
love.
You guys jumped right in. You're wonderful students. And now put your hands up in the air as we all say together. You ready? It's
all
love.
You guys are the best. All right, like I said, if you have to go, we send you off with our blessings. If you can stay, just stay for a little bit. We'd love to hear from you.